Is it recorded? I smell like bleach. You smell it?
Nah,
okay.
No, it sounds like something else. Like some sort of other cleaner.
Oh, that purple stuff too.
All right. Come over a little bit. Did you grind it out today? Did you? And today's gonna be a doozy of a topic. Hey, what's up? I'm Rashad.
And I'm Kesha. I'm back.
Hanging with the Joneses, episode number 72, because you don't know what episode we're on.
I sure don't. No.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm not going to even make it up. I don't even know what episode now.
Yeah, episode 72. So, you know. How's it been going? I feel like we should recap us for a quick second before we go to the topic.
Everything's going well.
Man.
Like the high pitch.
You got real high pitch on
The
us.
high pitch.
Yeah.
Everything's going well. How's it going with you?
Life's good. Wrapping up the awesome docuseries on Netflix, Genius.
It was.
Featuring, one enigmatic Kanye West. And I know I've went over the first two by myself, and just your overall about the series.
Mm-hmm. I love a documentary. I love a documentary, but I felt this one was like a really good documentary because sometimes with certain people get a documentary, you don't really, it really doesn't tell you anything.
True.
Some documentaries kind of like they're born, they was entertainment, and now they're not. It's kind of real basic like that. But I really felt like it was a really insight to his life. And I loved the person, his friend who did the documentary. Because I was like, Cootie. I was like, he's a real friend. Like, I hope Kanye holds him to his chest because that's a friend.
Friends stay closer than brother. I felt the same way. Like, I loved the series. And for me, it was very much the first episode was just straight nostalgia, euphoria for me. Like it spoke to a time in my life where I was young and dumb and didn't know what I was going to do in the world and trying to figure out who I was. And I was like, man, like that was a lot of the soundtrack.
It's like when you say young and dumb, the third one came to mind that goes with that. I couldn't do it.
So I was really happy watching those first two episodes, which leads us to
the first two. Yeah, they
the
were good.
Demise of episode number 3.
Oh
now,
I still think episode 3 made him look good. Because I think when his friend Cootie saw that the bipolar symptoms were really kicking in, he could have really went out there and recorded. So I still feel like even though his symptoms, you seen how his bipolar look, it was still held him to a high regard. Like it could have been a lot worse. So that's why I was like, well, I consider him a friend because he could have made that thing worse. Sorry, my eye itching, you all.
Okay. Yeah, so it was, it still was sad to me.
Yeah.
And just to see, and I was wild. Okay, so I got to give a real huge shout out to this YouTube I watch all the time. His name is FD Signifier. He does extraordinary video essays about a lot of black topics, especially more of the like black leftist, black liberal side of things. He had a video talking about Kanye before the doc came out.
Okay.
And he basically said Kanye was engaging in what's called kayfabe. Kayfabe is a wrestling term where basically, of course, wrestlers are basically actors, and they'll act a certain way, and then the storyline will shift, and then they'll have to basically what's called turn heel, like go evil. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For the character. And when Kanye was said to Cootie, said, yeah, I don't want the documentary to drop right now because I got to act. That's what people want to see. People want to see me this way. Paraphrasing, of course. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, dude was exactly right. You know what I'm saying? Because he essentially was like, man, like, I know this is what it is, but, like, I can't let people see the vulnerable Kanye. They're trying to eat Kanye. They're trying to see, you know what I'm saying, flossing Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Spending money Kanye.
See, but I also took it that him not really recording his mental health history.
I didn't see it like that.
I did. I saw it as not being kind of like, I want you to see this aspect, but certain things I'm gonna push back on. Like I think it was mental health issues. Some of those things he was like, I'm not gonna show you that. And I do believe, because even within until I saw the documentary, my thought was after his mother passed, that's when his behavior, like that's when all the symptoms came out. But then watching the documentary, that wasn't true. That you saw his symptoms of bipolar coming out. But I think, not knowing him personally, I think his mother helped him manage it. So that's why I think the mother, once she passed away, I don't think he ever dealt with her death. But then also, there was nobody there to like deal with him and kind of be like, hey, Kanye, like bring it down. And I think that's when you see that his symptoms escalated.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, like watching that in retrospect, it puts a lot of things, it makes sense of a lot of things. But then watching it in its totality, especially with current Kanye, it's like dog, like it's really hard to like, you know, like support somebody like that or want to be in cahoots, whether, even though I don't know him, but still, like, listen to music, if I'm consuming, or you be a consumer of his content and or clothing or sneakers or whatever, like, I don't care, even if you buying like the little stem player with his new album on it, which is the only way you can get it. Like, if you're a consumer that way, like, it's very problematic for me to really reconcile that I am supporting him right now, because it's hard to. It's not. He's not.
He's not well, and this is the thing. I felt sad for him, because this go tell you, no matter how much money you have, mental health, like you can't throw money at mental health. Like you have to really go through the process. And just as me looking at a documentary, they didn't say anything about him taking medication or him being counselor or anything like that. Being that he's a billionaire, he can have therapists at his beck and call. He can have psychiatrists, you know, at his beck and call. He's a billionaire. But it just shows that money can make you sane. You know, I know a lot of us, you know, a billionaire, like who wouldn't want to be a billionaire status, but the fact that he has all those resources and his mental health is still not taken care of. It was really, really, but really sad for me. But also another part of this, that sadness is there are people out here looking at this as he's a genius. Musically, yes, but your mental health wise, and some of the people are going to try to mimic this or give another excuse why their mental health don't need to be taken care of, because if I can act like this and Kanye can get billions, I can do it too. And now have her, every genius got something. Yes, doesn't mean it should go untreated. Because honestly, if Kanye didn't have billions, Kanye probably be in jail or dead. Would that be? It's only so far that behavior is going to take you. Or maybe if he didn't have that much money, he'd be in treatment.
It's so many factors that play into that. I mean, sure, we see people who have, especially like, you know, black men who have mental health issues and they get shot and killed.
Exactly.
You know, for wellness visits. Or like a dude who was in Colorado just walking down the street and they shot him down. He was like, man, I'm just trying to go home.
Right.
You know, so there is there's a clear distinction when it comes to classism in our world. Mm-hmm. Also, of course, you know, rampant unchecked capitalism will enable the people around the creator to keep them that way, even if they wanted to help.
And
the thing that really got me was even his friend Cootie, like in like the later years, where like Kanye would call him back and he would be the support. Even though he's there to support, he doesn't have a real grasp of how to support. And him wanting to be a friend to him and like knowing that he almost lost his friend, and also he know that he owes his friend owes him a lot. I mean, he owes a lot to his friend because he basically gave him his career. You know what I'm saying? Even though he left what he was doing to go record Kanye and it was documentary for him, he still because of Kanye, he was able to make a life for himself. So there's that aspect of like, yo, like I owe this to my friends because every time something happens, boom, yo, I'm on a plane. Boom, I'm on a plane.
I thought that was so loyal. That was so frank because it didn't say Kanye was paying for this. Like he said, I'm on a plane. I'm there. But also, I thought he knew how to support as best as he knew how. And
that's exactly what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. He like you as a therapist know, ain't but so much you can support with somebody who got mental health issues.
And if they're not in any type of treatment or taking their medication consistently or have a right blend of the medication, it's nothing you can do. But I was even sitting there like when he was in that business meeting, he was the only black person, and he was talking, and you can clearly see that he was rambling like it was anything. And they were entertaining him. And I was like, you are about to do business with him, and he is rambling right now. Like, this is not making any sense. But they were okay to do business with him. And it wasn't because, it was money. Because I'm going to be honest, right now, we're sitting here talking about him. So his name is out there. So being connected to him, even though it mentally doesn't sound right, but you're probably going to make money off it. It's probably going to sell. Not probably, it's going to sell. Because they were laughing, but the way they was laughing at him, it wasn't like they were laughing at him. Like this dude, like you know when they was laughing, to me it was like they were laughing at him.
Yeah, and those are the very much like sad parts of this, because people will use you regardless of where you are in your life, whether you're physically or mentally hurt. It doesn't matter. If they know that they can get a check, they're going to get a check.
Right.
Regardless of who you are, where you at, what you got going on. If they know that, hey, we can work out something with this person because they have stature, they have cachet, they have, they have clout, they have whatever, then they can say, hey, let's use him. Let's go ahead and fund what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then even like the whole, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. There's this little device called a stem player. Mm-hmm. And it's basically, it'll take stems or pieces of the track and separate it out, and you can play with it. You know what I'm saying? And you can pick whatever parts you want. You can have like the audio by itself, the vocals, and the track, the drums, and he is essentially backing that. You know what I'm saying? And making money off of that. But still, that company was relatively unknown until Kanye was like, oh yeah, I do this, and now Donda 2 is exclusively on the stem player. You can't even get the new album without having a stem player and then being downloaded. So there's this profiteering off of essentially someone's mental health, because even in him having mental health issues, he still has the wherewithal to know, which is again the genius part of it. What could be easily be next? How can I capitalize so I can actually do other things? And there's a small part where I think is when he goes to China. That's 2018, I believe, when he's in China, and he calls Cootie, and they go over there. He's recording him, and they are recording. I think it was the album, and they was out in Wyoming. They was doing recording for that, and he's talking in the car, and he's having this moment of I don't even know if it was clarity, but it was a very clear thought he had about how he wanted to be helping people, and it had this very altruistic moment. And even in his altruism, it was still so unrealistic, because what he was wanting was idealistic. You know what I'm saying? It was very in this idyllic world, we would all get along and nobody would be lacking, but that's not really how our world works at all.
But you can't say that when you have a dirty T-shirt online for $1,000 or hundreds of dollars. But I'm just saying that doesn't even correlate. But that's bipolar. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't correlate.
We saying this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Just give an example.
Thing. Definitely. Yeah,
it's that doesn't Do you see how you saying that? But the same token, this is happening. Your right hand is doing this, but your left hand is doing the opposite with the right. It's not going. But yeah, I agree. But even when it came to his third, I remember when you showed me his album. Well, not showed me. I heard his album, and I was like, "Rashad, do you hear this?"
This one, Jesus King.
No, not the one. Not the gospel one.
Which one?
I can't remember. It was just
recently.
No, this was back the old album, but this is before Unregistered. This is when he started happening. We started seeing more of the bipolar symptoms. Remember?
So my graduation day?
I don't know. Maybe it is.
But you remember the song of the album?
It came out close to Jesus is King.
Oh, was it a rap album?
Yeah, it was him rapping.
Was it like the rap gospel album?
Maybe it's, I don't know.
Jesus is Lord, then.
Then maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah. But even listen to that. I said, Rashad, do you remember I said, are you listening to this? I said, this is sad. This is bipolar.
Yeah, that's Jesus is Lord album.
Yeah. And people are saying, and I'm like, are they listening to the lyrics? This is really mental health issues right here. And it made me sad because people might be out there like, celebrating it. And I'm like, listen to the lyrics. And I'm not even I'm for the beat. Everything's a beat. But something caught my ear with what he was saying. I was like, this is not healthy. He's clearly manic. And you remember that?
Yeah. On the Jesus is King album. And it's funny.
Jesus Lord.
It's King. Jesus Lord was a gospel album.
Okay.
Gospel. Yeah. So funny you say that. Now they show him in his creative process where he'll rap a line, then just have in between it'll be, I know the cadence, but I don't know the words yet. There's a lot of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you can kind of, when you go back and listen to almost anything from even early on, that's just how his process been. That's a very kind of unorthodox way to kind of formulate a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? Because usually people come up with words, even they have a cadence. But it's really weird for that to be your whole process. And then you record like that, you'll stop, record it again, stop, record it again, stop. Even when he had the first Donna album, when he was held up in the Mercedes-Benz Center, stadium in Atlanta, mm-hmm. He essentially was recording that whole album like that by himself. Basically, essentially, we just a couple of people, had people come in for features, come in and out, and then they'll leave. So that whole process of that part of it is definitely attributed to mental health, because nobody's nobody's really trying to do that, because one, it's really hard, and then it's very time consuming, because Kanye is never on time in an album release. Historically late on dropping albums, or never dropped the album at all. You know what I'm saying? He has 3 albums that he's never released. So it's just a very weird.
But looking even that image, going back to that, knowing he has mental, by the time anyone in a stadium wear ski masks on it, say I live it, that's eccentric. Even if you don't know bipolar, that's not what you say your social norm is. People were willing to come there and record. Now, come on. And to me, those aren't friends.
Yeah.
Those are opportunists.
Yeah.
No. And then even some of the interviews I was listening to, and they were saying Kanye's my friend, but he's bugging, or he's crazy, or whatever it was. I'm like, so, well, why are you doing the interviews on? You know me, if that's your friend, my you couldn't give me an interview talking about he crazy and stuff. It's what happened to such and such? Next question, because this question's about me. I mean, you know what I mean? This interview's about me. Next.
Yeah, I ain't know what you're talking about.
Right. Ask Kanye when he get here. Set him up. But they was coming out and saying that's my friend, but he crazy right now. And but people were still willing to engage with him. At some point, when are you? Because that being untreated, because I'm saying untreated because for it to be like that, it's untreated. I'm saying it out there, and I don't have to know. It's untreated for him to have. He's having manic episodes, and he's going to depression. It's untreated. He's not managing it. But for them to know that and still want to engage with you, no one was saying hey, let's go to counseling together. See my people. Let's sit down. Let's talk. You know, and maybe there are people doing it in the background. Maybe they are. But I'm just saying the people who are doing radio interviews and saying, yeah, he crazy. I'm like, but you crazy because you still were recording with him. So if he's crazy, what are you?
An opportunist.
Right. And I don't like using the word crazy, but I'm saying that's what literally they were saying. And I thought it was weird how he was talking about how he had his black card revoked. I was like, oh, he realized that. Because when I watched the documentary, him, especially his mother, it was really like advocacy, doing for the kids, you know. And then when he went to TMZ, like black people wanted to be enslaved and got treated, it was like, where did that come from? And yes, the black community was heated. I myself, but also it's mental health. But also, how much you're going to keep claiming on mental health, especially if someone doesn't want to take care of it. And it's not like it's lack of resources.
Yeah, hence why right now I am just a conflicted Kanye fan. Like, I mean, I feel so. It's really odd because you be hoping for the best for people and like they just don't be one of the best.
And then you wonder, is he really a genius or is it just narcissistic personality disorders?
I mean, it could be a combination of all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's narcissist is always a genius to them. Yeah,
but he's definitely like he's producing up the kind of like from my eyes is like, well, he's yeah.
Yeah, I like his music. I'm not saying I like his music. However, not really acknowledging all these flaws.
Oh yeah. You know, there's a lack of it's just a lack of self accountability. Yeah, you know what I'm saying there because there's an awareness of self, but there isn't much self awareness if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, which hence goes into the self accountability part. I know, like for me as a grown up adult, there's some behaviors that even on my worst day, like I can't. There's no way I would be surviving in the world if I display those things. So again, that whole capitalism, you know what I'm saying, that whole classism just comes into play because if you have enough money, like you get treated a different way, even regardless of like. In my opinion, like race,
because you're green.
Because in a capitalistic society, even if you got money, but if you known and have notoriety, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because there are only like maybe like 10 people who have like that superstardom status as Kanye does have right now, and has had for years. So he's gonna get treated a totally different way than the average person, like you were saying earlier. Like the average person who may have a mental health issue. Mm-hmm. Now, we both personally know people around us, about us, who had mental health issues.
They're not treated like that. Who
suffer with bipolar mania and depression.
And they ain't getting jobs either.
Nah, like they out
people are not sitting there like, hey, how can we do this?
Nah, they out here really, it's a real interesting life for them because, again, like you said, untreated, bipolar is a really it's different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there's no real way for me to explain it without it sounding like almost like derogatory, because you are you in your right mind, and then all of a sudden you won't be that person no more.
Okay, well, bipolar, bi means two sides. So one, you could be manic. What does manic look like? If your mind tell you going to Jamaica, you going to Jamaica. As soon as you get Jamaica, you say, no, well, I'm going to England. You're going to England. If your mind say, I'm going to spend all my money, and that's what you're going to do. Manic, honestly, could be fun. It's like whatever your wildest dream, when you're manic, that's what it is. However.
So like no inhibitions?
Nope. Anything you want, anything your mind create, you're going to do it. And it could be, I'll be honest, it can be fun. However, the other side is depression. And that's when you realize everything you did when you was manic. And now I don't have the money now.
And then it's like all guilt.
And then it's all depression.
Yeah.
You know, so it's highs and lows. But him sitting there, but you know, sometimes I even think other artists, sometimes they don't address mental health issue because that's how it make me an artist.
That are like other artists they don't really, especially in our community, like we just thought, like we've really have just scratched the surface. And I say the past 7 to 10 years of what mental health is for us as a community. Yeah. Never mind individually. First, we had to actually just acknowledge it was a thing. You know what I'm saying? And now we're still in the kind of like accepting phase of this.
Yeah. The pandemic was like, if you didn't believe it now, the pandemic was like, huh?
Yeah, like
Here we go.
Yeah, like cause now it's like, yo, I'm isolated. I feel weird. Like this, I wasn't like this before. Like we're
losing jobs.
Yeah, we're just starting to accept that mental health has always been a part of all of our lives and played a part in everybody's family, whether we realize it or not. And it's going to take us a while to get to the adhere stage, to adhere to something different. You know what I'm saying? Just as a community of, these beautiful folks of the diaspora.
I believe the statistics is one in every 4 person is dealing with mental health issues.
And I'm pretty sure that's on the low side. Probably. You know what I'm saying?
I believe, I don't know, that's 2007 or 2017's data. But it's just that I really want him, being the therapist, I really want him to do better. I want people to stop taking advantage of him. And even, don't get me wrong, Kanye was able to reach his billionaire status, being his mental health being untreated. So it can make it look real good. However, also, how many times his name has been in the media, and some people may have been, but it wasn't a positive thing. Like, who's sleeping in the stadium? Who's wearing a dark mask? Who do you know, even in the pandemic, can wear a dark mask walking down the street and you're black?
Not even that, but even like right now, like how he's like really berating his ex-wife and like, Pete Davidson. Like,
now, if he didn't have the money,
yeah, somehow
where would he been?
Yeah, no, yo, that's basically like just like an open threat.
Right. So I want the youth and other people to look up. Don't get confused that you're able to do the same things as him. Technically, he shouldn't be able to do the same things, but people are willing to finesse him because he has money. He has more money, more power too. Be honest with you, when you have, I know it's more money, more problems, but when you have that much money,
what you need in life.
Right. Shut up.
Money.
But when you have more money, people are willing to do stuff for you. Am I right?
Very true.
He's around people that was like, yes, yes. And I'm like, somebody tell him no. I feel like his mama would be like, Kanye, sit down. No, you're not. But I want them saying that. I want people to realize that you're not Kanye, or what's his new name? Ye?
Yeah.
You're not going to have the same outcome. It's not going to be the same for you.
Yeah, I feel like we should be viewing this more as a cautionary tale and not a inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't an inspirational documentary. This is a very cautionary tale because it starts super inspirational. You know what I'm saying? And then it's this, to make another analogy with bipolar. This was really like a roller coaster of a doc, because it's like click, you get to the top, and then just after that it's just looping. It's upside down. It's just like bipolar. It's everywhere.
And honestly, I say he makes great music, except for that last one. I'm like, that's his bipolar. However, God forbid, if something happens to him right now, more people are going to be talking about when he ran for president, when he made the threats, when he was locked in a psychiatric hospital, when he was, and let you know, the way they took him to somebody else, they would have got killed. They would have got killed. But his story is going to overshadow. They're going to focus on that. We're focused on it now. We're focused on it now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, well, kind of told you. You see how he?
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is the legacy of the man. Like, what is going to be the legacy? And especially because I'm 40. So right now in my mind, like I'm very much thinking, what is my legacy going to be? Like, how are people going to be remembering me? What is going to be the lasting image, the lasting memory of my life? And it's a very sobering thought, but it's also a very realistic one, because even though I have a good understanding of what I can and can't care about, I am still very concerned with how I'm viewed in regards to certain things. Like, I don't want to come off as a jerk, or I don't want to come off as like, yo, Rashad was like super aggressive and always nasty all the time. Like, I don't, because inside, like deep down inside, you know, that's really not who I want to be.
And I don't want that to linger over my children's head. Me too. Because he has children, so you don't want children like, you know, your dad, you know, something wrong with that dude.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the sins of the father always fall to the kids. You know what I'm saying? And then they have to be hold and be responsible for that, because this is your family stuff. You like, we inherit so much stuff from our family that ain't really got nothing to do with us, but because we're attached to the last name, we're attached to a bloodline, all that stuff that comes down from generation, like we get to have some fun of that too. You know what I'm saying? Whether we ain't got nothing to do with it or not, whether we believe ideologically differently or not, like we still have to contend with a lot of that.
A perfect example of this, Michael Jackson. He was a musical genius. I don't think anybody can question that. What do you remember most about him? When they mention him, what comes up?
How he died.
How he died. The molestation charges. That's what come up. And then it's even looked at his children like, oh, how the children going to turn out? Is that really his? Even so much that the daughter tried to attempt to end her life. So I think that's a perfect example of how it can turn out if it don't change for Kanye. Michael Jackson, well, some people might, he's a musical genius. He is. But when you talk about that, you rarely would get a Michael Jackson documentary now that didn't present how he died and the trials he had. Yeah,
all the like mid-2000s, early like mid-90s allegations when he had to turn to Nation of Islam for security and all that stuff. Like it was like, how
he couldn't have his children being shown because it is.
Yeah, like you get it's so much controversy. Like you don't even get to celebrate the
legacy,
the good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the actual legacy, not all the all the nonsense. But absolutely. I'm gonna get sad again, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop.
And see, this is my everyday life.
I kind of got over it, but now I'm like, oh man, it just sucks. Anyway, man, glad to have Kesha back. Hopefully she'll stay a couple episodes.
Don't do it like that.
You know what I'm saying? But if you watch on the YouTube, definitely like the video and type in the comments what's your favorite part of the doc. And if you have experiences with somebody or yourself with mental health, if you want to share, definitely want to share, and so we can kind of create a healthy community in regards to how we talk and have discourse about various forms of mental health, not just bipolar disorder.
Right. So even if you want to share, but also share your solution. What did you do to get better?
Talking like a therapist. But yeah, that's all we got for this episode. What else? May have a movie review coming later on this week. Not sure yet. That's it. See you guys next Monday at 10 a.m.